Hi, and welcome to Mark's motivational podcast from another Authors Tuesday. So it's great to have another guest on the podcast today, Lucy O'Callaghan. Sorry, Lucy O'Callaghan. She's from Galway, and so I'm really looking forward to talking to her. Her new book is out actually today. So because this is going to go out on Tuesday, so it's going to come out today. So so I'm really looking forward to talking to Lucy. She does copy editing, and she also does copywriting as well. So there's a lot of stuff she does. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Lucy. Thanks a lot for joining me today, Lucy.
Thanks very much for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So, just we want to start the podcast off. If you want to tell the listeners, you sent me a bio with a lot of information, so thank you for that. But if you want to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and the books you've written, would be brilliant start.
Okay, my name's Lucy. I've been writing since I was about 8 years of age. I used to write stories with my dad, and then moved on to teenage writings, filling lots of notebooks. My obsession with stationery started then as well. And then when my kids were small, I used to write children's stories and get them to illustrate them. Um, and then I moved on to writing contemporary women's fiction. I'm a big people watcher, and I love kind of making up stories about, I might see, say, a group of women sitting in a cafe, and I'll make up what's happening in their lives and what they might be talking about. And, I love doing that. Um, and my first novel, The Lies Beneath, is going to be published today, Tuesday, the 2nd of April. And I'm thrilled with that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, congratulations with the book. Like, it's absolutely brilliant because you've done a previous one before. This is your second novel, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I've written a book that's hidden in the drawer now and never to see the light of day.
Yeah, yeah. And
And yeah, but that was a great learning curve. I think
mhm,
whatever you write or whatever you don't use,
mhm.
you've learned something by writing it.
Okay, because no, sorry, the first novel or the first book was that picking up by a publisher itself, Lucy, or
Oh, I never saw that. I never went out to a publisher.
oh,
No.
my apologies. Oh, okay, yeah. So, but it is, as you said, it's a great learning curve, and I love exactly what you're saying there about getting your children to do the illustration. That's brilliant. Do you want to talk about that? That's great.
Yeah, well, they were much better artists than I was. So, and it was kind of a great interactive thing, and you know from reading the stories whether they were interested in them or not, whether it was going the right way or not, and how they often kind of would. A lot of them were pirate stories and adventure stories, because that's what they were into at the time, and they'd like to recreate the action and adventures themselves, in play, which was great.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, because I do something similar to me myself with my own kids. So I hear you there. That's great. So yeah, no, that's great. And your book that's coming out there now, it's out today. So that's great to have you on the podcast today. Can you maybe read a little bit about it there? If you want to read
Yeah.
the blurb, would be great,
Yeah.
please. For
I can tell you a bit about it there.
yeah,
That's covered The Lies Beneath, and the tagline is Betrayal Never Comes from Your Enemies. It's about four women, Carla and Emily, who are best friends, Amanda and Dawn, who are mother and daughter. It's about lies, love, friendship, deceit, betrayal, and the masks we wear. It's set in Galway, and yeah, I really enjoyed writing it, and can't wait for readers to read it.
no, congratulations! Like it's a novel. That's brilliant. And did it take you long to write it, Lucy?
Yeah, yeah, it did. Um, it took a lot of drafts. It probably started as quite a different idea, just after Christmas. So in the new year of 2020, and I had a lot more. So it's written from four different point of views, and it probably had six or seven different point of views at the time. The story was slightly different, and then I would kind of writing was always my background hobby. Like it wasn't that I didn't say I was writing, but it was something I did kind of, the kids were in bed or my husband was away with work. And then obviously in 2020, COVID happened and we were all at home together. So I had to say I have to write. And I kind of treated I suppose the kids sat down to homeschool and I sat down to write. I treated it a bit like an office job, and wrote away. So that's when I started it, in January 2020. And it's probably had, I don't know, maybe 15 drafts, maybe 3 readers' reports. And then, of course, when it got picked up by my publisher, Poolbeg, that had some editing done on it as well. So another draft or two. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard work to get it to here.
And no, congratulations getting picked up by Poolbag as well. That's a really big deal. Did it take you long for that to happen?
I kind of started sending out into the world. Um, I sent out to a few people, agents, and in Ireland we're very lucky, we can send direct to most publishers. So I'd sent to a couple, and with agents, you can hear back straight away, or you might not hear for months. And some I still haven't heard back from. And that was, kind of that was 2023 that I was sending it out. And then I sent to Poolbeg. A friend mentioned Poolbeg, and I posted it to them on a Tuesday. And on a Wednesday, I got an email asking for more. So that was kind of a bit, wow, yeah. And they only had the first 3 chapters in the synopsis, so I emailed the rest, and thought, oh well, they got back to me so quickly with the first 3 chapters. I'm going to hear, within the week, and I didn't hear anything. And you can imagine then every email that pinged into my inbox. Oh my gosh, it was so intense. And I had to kind of reassure myself that, with, publishers, they can take months to get back to you. Anyway, the lovely Paula in Poolbeg did get back to me after a couple of weeks and offered me a 3-book deal. So I was thrilled, really, really thrilled.
Yeah. And it's going to go out today, and it's on Amazon. And where else can people pick it up?
You can pick it up in Eason's, in Dubray, on Amazon. WA Smith's Travel are running a promotion on it at the moment if you're going to be flying out over the Easter holidays, if you're flying out from the airports. So any good bookshop, really, you can get it there.
Brilliant, brilliant. And have you planned the book launch yourself as well? And are you going to go in for a book signing as well, Lucy?
Yeah, I've got a book launch lined up in Eason's in Galway. So that's lined up for at the weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. Lots of friends and family, some flying in from the UK and all over Ireland, coming to Galway for the weekend. So yeah, no, it should be good. I'm slightly terrified of standing up in front of them.
Yeah.
um, yeah, put me in a room full of kids. I used to teach, so put me in a room full of kids, I'd be fine. But put me in a room full of adults and worse, your friends and family, it's a bit daunting.
Yeah, yeah. No, but congratulations, the best of luck with it. That's great. Um, yeah, and it was kind of, how can I say, do you have a kind of a style with your writing, a schedule when you're writing these books? Like, would you write a certain amount of words a day, or what way would you do it yourself, Lucy?
Yeah, so I'm quite disciplined. I don't set myself a word target, but I would aim to write a certain amount of scenes, maybe. I'm a bit of a planner, so I kind of write myself into a story. Now, I'm a handwriter, so it makes my process a bit longer, because I write it all out. Now, I have recently bought a device called a Remarkable, and that converts my handwriting into text. So that saves me some time. But I would tend to sit down with a new story, and I kind of have the idea of the story, and I just write and write and fill pages and pages of my ideas, what might happen, about the characters. I don't kind of do interview questions as such, but I'll write about what they look like and what their family is, their background. I'll kind of write mini scenes that will never make it into the book, but it's kind of, I suppose you describe it as like an iceberg. So underneath the water, I know everything about these characters, and then the tiny bit that's peeking out is what the reader gets to see. But me knowing everything else underneath the water makes that character, I suppose. So I'd maybe write a scene about a character driving to a supermarket, and it might be how they react to other drivers, what they're listening to in the car. Do they drive with one hand on the wheel? Are they very relaxed? Are they an anxious driver? what they're going to buy in the supermarket. That kind of thing is the way. And I'll spend quite a long time writing my way into these characters before I start on the story. And then I kind of plan out the story with maybe sentences, and then those sentences then become the chapters. And I might have maybe 40 chapters. But I know that as I write, that will expand, to 80 maybe or whatever. And obviously the subplot then comes in. So yeah, so I do a lot of planning before I sit down. Now it never stays the same. It never stays to that plan. Your characters do what they like half the time. Yeah, but it's a framework for me to work with. And also I do find, because I have that plan, if I'm stuck with one scene, because I know what the next scene is going to be, if I have an idea of how that's going to go, I can just skip one scene and come back to it. So I don't have to write in a linear fashion, which suits as well if you're a bit stuck.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great system. And Lucy, would you mind maybe reading a little bit more about the book that's out today? If you're happy to maybe read a
Yeah,
little bit more, just give people a taste. Great stuff.
yeah, absolutely. So I'll show you the cover there again.
That's really
Carla,
really good.
yes, I love the color.
Yeah,
The color
brilliant.
of the
Yeah,
cover. Yeah, I was
mm,
delighted with it.
yeah.
So the lies beneath. Carla seems to have it all: a big house in a picturesque village on the west coast of Ireland, a rich husband, and two great kids. But she wants to be Carla again, to rediscover herself beyond her roles as mother and wife. Teaching is her passion, but her husband Thomas prefers to keep his wife at home and blocks her attempts to return to work. Carla's best friend Emily is struggling in the dating world. Back to work since separating from her husband, she longs to have a partner again, a longing that leads her to make a disastrous mistake. Amanda, a friendly librarian, is a manipulative mother behind the scenes and prepared to use extreme measures to hold on to her student daughter Dawn, who is desperate to escape her suffocating situation. Hidden beneath the picture-perfect marriage, the enduring friendship, and mother and daughter relationship lie betrayals that will shatter three families.
That sounds really good. All the different characters coming about. That's great. And as you said, like that's interesting. You were saying that you love to write about people like that are you see out. That's great. That's really good. And you were saying as well what you sent me that you're involved in a lot of writers groups as well. Would
Yeah.
do you work out prompts yourself, Lucy, with that or?
Um, yeah, so I've certainly got characters and different situations from different writing prompts, but I found that I'm in kind of a local writing group and an online writing group, and I think that they're great for accountability and for sharing your work, learning to share your work, learning to receive critique and to give critique, and to keep each other going. You're there for the good days of writing and the bad days of writing.
Yeah.
So definitely, I mean, I recommend to anybody who's writing to find like-minded people. I mean, I found my tribe in my writing group, and they get me and I get them, and it's wonderful.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we could be writing totally different genres, but it's the support that's there, and the critique is great.
Yeah, and it is. It's really a great 100% because I'm involved in one myself. But as well as that, I just think that like a lot of people will relate to your stories you're telling in that book as well. That a lot of people go through all kinds of situations.
Yeah, and I'd like to think that life can throw curveballs at all of us when we least expect it. And I suppose it's, you're never too old to reinvent yourself. You're never too old to get up and go again, keep going. People face resilience at all stages of their life.
Hmm.
So it's good to kind of explore characters in this way, and I love having different points of view. So I love to read a story where there's different chapters, a different character's point of view, and that's I suppose why I write that way as well, because I like being able to show the different characters' points of view. And the four women in this story: Dawn, Amanda, Carla, and Emily. You can really get their kind of points of view across, which is great.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Like, well done. That's brilliant. Yeah, because it would it be safe to say, the way you've written about these characters, that other women or ladies might be experiencing this, and it might be a kind of a message to them to help them. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, definitely,
yeah,
absolutely. And like I just said,
yeah,
you don't know what life's going to throw at you, what
yeah,
curveballs. We have to kind of get up and keep going. And
mm,
these four women all face, tough
yeah,
times, and it's how
yeah,
they deal with it, and how they get on with things.
yeah. No, well
Yeah.
done. That's amazing. That's really good. And can I ask you as well, Lucy, because it's a motivational podcast as well, what kind of keeps you motivated in your writing as well? If you could maybe pinpoint something that keeps you
Um,
motivated.
well, I love the writing. I love it when I'm immersed in a story, and I've learned not to get frustrated if something's not working. I've learned to give my mind time to just to let it kind of percolate, let the story percolate, go out for a walk if something's not working, even step away from the writing for a few days. And your subconscious does kind of figure it out for you. It does if you trust it.
Yeah.
And the reason that you might get stuck writing is because there is something wrong. There's something's not working right. That's why you get stuck. So for me, if I get stuck, then I just go for a walk, or I clean the house, or I cook a dinner. But you're all the time thinking about it, and I think it just keeps me motivated, even though if I'm not writing, I'm still thinking about it in some way.
Mm. Yeah. Because it hasn't gone away. It's just like, by doing something different. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you for that. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great. And I see you do copy editing as well, like we mentioned earlier, and copywriting. That's right. And do you do this for on a professional basis, or is it something you just do for yourself? Or
Yeah, yeah, a bit of both, really. So I took a copywriting, copy editing, proofreading courses, and a lot of different publishing courses with the London Publishing Training Centre, just kind of online courses. And I kind of did it really to immerse myself more into the writing world. I also write for writing.ie and write a weekly column for them. And I also write some agent feature articles as well. So it was just really to immerse myself more. I'd like to say that I use it in my own editing, but sometimes I think when you're doing your own work, it's
yeah,
difficult to,
yeah, yeah.
to see the wood for the trees.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I do freelance for a few different people who might do like readers reports and things like that, and offer copy editing and copywriting services. So I do a few bits like that. Um, I'm trying to get a bit of experience to kind of build it up a little bit more. Maybe ideally in the future I'll go out myself and set up myself with it. But at the moment I'm gaining a bit of experience.
Yeah, great stuff. Like, obviously, I'm going to share all the links to your work in the show notes. So if ever you're thinking of doing that, like, for people, I can give your website or your contact details if you wish.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And can I ask
Great.
you as well? No, great. And can I just ask you as well? You were a school teacher for a number of years. Is that correct?
I'm Montessori school teacher.
Oh,
Yeah, I owned a
Montessori.
preschool
Okay.
for I owned a preschool for 16 years.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. And, because kids would give you plenty of ideas, because did you write some children's books, earlier on as well, or is that something you went
Um,
down?
Not since my own children were small, I didn't write any
Okay,
children's stories. But I love to read to the children in the Montessori. I
yeah,
really enjoy doing that. And it's amazing how many children don't get read to anymore. So it's lovely to do that. One big hindrance I found by teaching for 16 years was it's very difficult for me to come up with characters' names, because it's any name comes into my mind, it's somebody I've taught, or somebody, whether it's a Tom, a Mary, a
yeah.
Jimmy, or whatever. you know you've taught somebody, so I find it very difficult to come up with characters' names
Mm.
um from that.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, but, no, thanks very much for that. And can I just ask you, what would you like to have happen for your books? Like, what would you like to have happen in the next couple of years for your book?
Oh, well, I'd like for people to read it
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and enjoy it.
mhm,
And they're like, obviously, I hope that it does well and people connect with it and can
mhm,
see, recognize other women in these characters that I've written.
yeah,
And then obviously for them to read book two and three.
yeah,
And
yeah,
just, I'd like to just keep writing, really.
yeah.
I love doing this, so I'd like to keep going if I can keep coming up with ideas.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, and like, what is writing.ie as well? Just because for people that are listening, it's a website, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, so writing.e is probably Europe's biggest writing website.
Yeah.
And you can access that from, you can see it on Facebook. You can go directly to writing.ie. There's lots of articles written there about, so I do a really useful links column. And it's where, say, for example, I might do a column on pacing, and I'll look across the internet to find the best articles with advice about pacing and put them all together in one place for you to find. And there might be a few podcasts there as well, or there might be a few YouTube videos too. Um, Other articles, there might be book reviews on writing.ie. Authors often write articles there about their process. Um, and you can also sign up to do free writing challenges on writing.ie as well. So there's so much information there. You'd never get through it all. There's so much of it there. It's brilliant for any writer to kind of look through.
Well, thanks a lot for the advice on that because yeah, I remember talking to a previous guest and they were talking about it. So thanks very much. It's worth checking out. Definitely. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And the founder, Vanessa Fox O'Loughlin, who's writes as Sam Blake, she's a crime writer. She runs writing.ie, it's her baby. And the kind of an offshoot of that is Writers Inc., which is the online writing group that I'm in.
mhm,
And that's fantastic. And any serious writer now should check it out.
that's great. Thanks a lot for that, Lucy. And
Yeah.
what's next for yourself as well? Like, you say you have to do another two books and for pool bag, and do you have like a set time to do that, or what way does it work?
Yeah, they're waiting for book two. They'd like book two in a couple of months. So I've been busy writing that. At the moment, it has working title Obsession. So we'll see where that goes, whether they like the title or not, and see what they think to the story. So that's that. And then I suppose in about a year's time, they'll want a third book, which actually the second book I'm kind of tidying up at the moment. The third book is I've probably done 5 drafts on it, so that still needs a good bit of work, but that's put to one side while I'm concentrating on book two.
Yeah, that's great. Like to have something to aim for all the time, really, isn't it? It's like a goal. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
and I think that's a big tip as well. Even if you're sending one novel out into the world to agents or to publishers, keep writing, keep doing something, start something new, because the first thing they're going to ask you is, what else do you have?
hmm,
Do you
yeah,
have anything else?
yeah,
You know, it's unusual to get a one book deal.
mm,
Usually a publisher, if they're going to invest in you, if they've got their time and their money, they want to know what else you've got. So if you've got a second story there, even if it's only a first or second draft at that stage, at least and also it takes your mind off waiting
yeah,
for the answers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And listen, did it have to be like a lead on from the last book? Does it have to be kind of a trilogy?
No,
That,
no, no. They're
okay,
standalone books. They're not
okay,
connected in any way at all.
right,
They're big, along the same lines of the same kind of genre.
yeah,
Yeah, but no, they're completely separate.
okay, yeah, yeah. Because people would think that like they have to be kind of linked in some way, like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, thanks for clearing that
No,
up. That's great.
and I think people who write trilogies are just amazing. Like, to be able to keep those characters going and the story
Yeah,
arcs going. I mean, that's
yeah.
fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Yeah, no, I wish you all the success going forward with your books,
Thank
and
you.
it's congratulations to you. No, that's great. And I'm going to share all your information on the show notes as well. So if it's okay, I might just ask a few of your favorites. I normally ask the guests that come on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah.
favorite book, is it?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be a favorite, like, just something that comes to mind, one that you find really interesting.
Yeah, I will say that I love the author Jo Spain. I love her books. They're paced, and they're the sort of books that you can't put down. So she's a favorite of mine, and I'm always, the minute I've finished a book, I'm almost cross that I finished it because I've got to wait another year for it for the next one.
Yeah.
Another author, Andrea Mara, Irish author, she's fantastic. And like that, I race through them so quickly, and then I'm sad that I've finished them already.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So they would be my favorite authors now. Yeah, at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, great stuff. And can I ask you, just going back to a previous point that you were made earlier on, just came to me. Do you did you have to do much research in like, I know they're fictional characters, but would you have to do much research, Lucy, when you were writing the books?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are medications and things in this particular book that lies beneath. So I had to speak to a pharmacist, my local pharmacist, who was very good, and hopefully he didn't think I was trying to kill anybody off with all my questions. I
Yeah.
did go in and try to explain myself, and I think I'm a writer, and I just would like to ask you about these medications. But yeah, no. So he was very helpful because you have to get your facts right. I also have a retired guard as a neighbour, and two serving guards who live down the road from me. So anything that was police procedural, I asked them, and they were very good at reading bits and checking bits out for me. So that was great. And people, people are great. They love to be asked. Which is
Mhm.
is lovely. So I definitely had to do that for that. Also, randomly things like when it came to fact checking things, my editor had me checking flight times to New York because which was mad because you kind of think, okay, they're going on a flight to New York, but there could be somebody that could read this book and say, oh, there's no flights out of Dublin till after 12 o'clock, so
Yeah, yeah.
it seems mad,
Yeah.
but some people will know that. So
Mhm.
you have to get things like that as well. The third book that I am writing is set between or the scenes in London, and so I had to spend a lot of time researching the tube stations and the tube map and various places on it. And I'm not kidding, I probably spent 3 days, and it was probably for maybe 4 lines across the whole novel.
So it's like detective work, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, you've got to get it right, and I hope I've got it right. There's still going to be things that people might say, "Hang on a second," but it's a
Yeah,
work of fiction, and you try your best with it. But it is important to do the research about things like that because people will know.
yeah. It sounds very interesting work, like, for yourself, like, as well as writing the novel, you're still finding a lot of information out as well.
Yeah, but you can
Yeah,
lose yourself down rabbit holes there,
I
and that's
suppose you
it. Then
can, yeah,
three
yeah.
hours have gone, and you've only written two sentences.
Yeah, yeah, that's the other problem, yeah. Very good. No, thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that, that's great, just because it's always interesting 'cause you hear people writing, history novels or whatever, they have to do a lot of research, but
Oh, yeah,
even for, like, a fictional book, you have to have your stuff your homework done.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
yeah. No, that's great. Can I ask you as well, your back to your favorites, your favorite music as well to listen to?
Oh, so I love nothing better than a bit of 80s music, I'll be honest.
Yeah, great stuff, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
suppose I kind of move more then into kind of Britpop. I still love Oasis and Pulp. I went to see Pulp last year in Dublin.
Oh,
They were
wow, that's
amazing.
great, yeah.
Um, yeah, so old school kind of music, even though I suppose my kids keep me young by playing me all the whatever songs are out these days.
Yeah, yeah, I know I'm the same myself, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Great stuff, yeah. Do you ever I ask this to a lot of guests, do you ever kind of listen to music when you write, or would that put you off? Or because some people like to listen
Yeah, some
to
people put
lyrics.
playlists together and things like that, but I don't. I prefer just the peace and quiet. Now I can write anywhere. I could write on a train and an airplane, and a coffee shop. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. If I was somewhere and somebody was on the phone, I'm okay if people are having conversations around me. But I've been on a train before and somebody's been on a phone call. Oh, she was sat across from me, and I'm not kidding. She must have had five phone calls between Galway and Dublin, probably more. And it was the same phone call. So eventually I put my headphones in and just put on some classical music just so that I could just drown her out a little bit and focus. But I do think if I listen to songs where people are singing, I think I'd nearly write the lyrics down. As
Hmm.
I,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. So I don't. I just I can't say I write to complete silence because I'm sure, like yourself, you have a busy household, and
Yeah,
it's not always possible. But yeah,
yeah.
try
No,
to
that's
shut it
great.
down.
Yeah. No, because I know what you're saying there. Because interesting enough, like for music without lyrics can work for some people, like myself. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, great stuff. Um,
yeah.
films and TV programs, like favorite movies to watch.
Yeah, I am. I'm the sort of person who sits down to watch a specific TV program or film. I'm not a I don't flick through channels and just see what's on. I'm going into the living room to sit and watch something in particular. So I suppose I like Netflix because you can binge things. Loved Ozark. I
Mm,
loved Good Girls. Um, I loved anything, all the Harlan Coben books that have been turned into series or movies. I think there was Safe House, The Stranger. Um, they were very good as
yeah, they're
well.
great stuff. Yeah, yeah.
And when it comes to films, I watched Saltburn the other day. That was okay. Um, I love old films as well, but I love watching Dirty Dancing, that kind of thing. Um, and what else have we been watching? We watched Barbie, and my daughter has us watching Modern Family. So she's studying at the moment. She's in fifth year. She's studying, and so at 9:30 every evening, books are put away, and we just kind of sit down and chill out and watch an episode of Modern Family, which is very, very funny,
Stuff. Yeah,
and very, very easy to watch.
yeah. You need something like that, right, to to chill out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah. But
would
I'm usually still at my desk
mm,
late in the evenings. I try to finish up before 9:30, and then go and watch something then for a while. So yeah. But
that's
if I'm in a series and it's good, that's me hooked. Oh, we watched The Gentleman there on Netflix as well. That was very good.
oh yeah, I don't know what's oh yeah, I heard that's very good. Yeah, I must check that out. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, it's good. Funny.
Um, yeah. Would you hope to kind of maybe down the road even um have your book into kind of some kind of film or would that be something?
Absolutely. That would
Yeah,
be fabulous. And if
yeah, yeah,
you could send this to Reese Witherspoon or somebody in Netflix, somebody who
yeah,
does these things, that would be great. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, absolutely. No, I don't write with the idea of it being
Mm,
made into a film, but obviously, I mean that's a dream to
yeah,
have that happen.
definitely. Yeah,
It's actually funny because I had some friends over recently, and I make storyboards of my novels as I'm
yeah,
writing them. I might have my chapter list, and I will print out photographs of my characters as I see them and of my location. So the locations are pretty much real because I base them around Galway. But my characters, I might just type in, short lady with blonde curly hair, or what, and then whatever photographs come up on Google, I'll pick one, but I'll pick one I don't know. If it comes up with an actress I know, I'll ignore that one because otherwise the actress is then in your mind.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but friends came over recently and they were looking at the one of my storyboards here in my writing snug, and they were like, "Oh, that's such and such," and I was like, "Don't tell me, don't tell me," because then
Mhm.
that would be it. That would
Mm,
be the character. Then in my mind would change.
yeah,
So yeah, so that's
mm,
yeah, that's the way.
yeah, great stuff. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks a lot for sharing all that. And your favorite places to travel as well. Last question.
Oh, I love to travel all over the world, really. I have traveled and I'll be honest, I love Asia. I love just the beaches over there. I'm an absolute sucker for beaches anywhere.
Mm,
My happy place is walking the beach
nice. Yeah,
with the dog. But yeah, no, I definitely would say Asia, Australia as well. Yeah, absolutely. We're hoping to get away for a bit of an adventure holiday this year, so I could have another location to add next time I talk to you.
Great stuff. It's great to catch up from all the times you couldn't go anywhere in the last couple of years.
I know, but
Yeah,
you know what? Those times I think made me appreciate Ireland because there was so much of Ireland I hadn't explored. So when we were
definitely.
allowed to travel outside of our county but not go abroad,
Mm,
we explored, a lot of Donegal, and I love
yeah,
Donegal. I mean,
yeah,
for a beach lover, Donegal is unbelievable. Now we were very lucky in both times we went to Donegal, we got kind of 20, 22 degrees heat. So that's kind of almost unheard of up there. So it was brilliant.
yeah. Great stuff.
um, but yeah, no, I suppose that was one of the nice things about lockdown. We could explore some of Ireland that we mightn't usually go for.
And a beautiful place to live, Galway as well. Down where you were, loads of
Yeah,
beach walks. Yeah, great
that's
stuff.
it. Yeah, always
Yeah,
lovely. And County Clare and the Burren, I love walking all those
yeah.
places. Yeah, I love heading off the hikes in the Burren.
Great stuff. Yeah, sounds great. And yeah, no, thanks a lot for coming on, Lucy. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the success with your new book, your new
Thanks
novel.
so much.
And is there anything else I haven't asked you there tonight that you'd like to share with
Um,
the listeners, the people watching on
no,
YouTube?
I think you kind of covered everything really.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a great chat. I really enjoyed
yeah.
that.
No, thank you very much. Thank you. And
Yeah.
no, I suppose before you go, can I just ask you, would you mind maybe if you're to give, just say, write a sentence on the billboard for everyone to see, to do with their writing or keeping themselves motivated, what would you say to them? Just what would
Um, I would say just keep writing. I would say don't worry about making it perfect. Just get the story on the page. You can come back and look at it afterwards and talk to other writers, try and meet other writers, whether it's in person or online. Share your work. That's it. That's the way I learned.
yeah,
That's the way I learned, and that's where I improved. And I would really recommend that. Don't be afraid to share your words, but just keep going.
yeah. Oh, that's great advice. Thank you so much. So will you just show your book there one more time, or your novel? Thank you.
Here it is. The lies beneath.
Nice, indeed. I actually saw it in Doobie Books there when I was up in Liffey Valley the other day. So yeah, so
Oh,
it's yeah, yeah. I
fantastic.
saw it in the window. Yeah, yeah. So Lucy, thanks very much, and all the best with everything you do.
Thank you very much for having me on. I really enjoyed it, Mark.
Yeah, great stuff. So yeah, so thanks everyone for listening and watching on YouTube. To the Mark's motivational podcast, Authors Tuesday with Lucy O'Callaghan. Definitely check out her work. Her book is out there today, and go along to the book launch and buy loads of her books. Okay.
Thank you. I
th-
hope you enjoyed reading.
Yeah, thanks, Lucy. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks again, everybody. See you next time. Take care. Son.
Hello, everyone. Mark here. Thank you for watching another episode of my Authors Tuesday podcast. I recently published a book of children's stories called The Adventures of Larry Lamppost and Friends. The book began life as bedtime stories I wrote for my own children. If you'd like to purchase my book, follow the link in the description box below. By buying my book, you are also supporting my podcast series for authors, which is giving a voice to writers in Ireland and across the world. Bye.